Nvidia reported earnings last night and left me speechless, as well as the Wall Street analysts. But it was kind of a given if you go back a year ago when they outlined a $1 trillion total addressable market. This is Nvidia. The transformer model, which was first launched in 2017, finally reached a wide adoption over the past 6 months, driving demand and expanding its use cases for AI. So last night, Nvidia's earnings easily beat its guidance, but what was more impressive was the company's Q2 guidance. Nvidia said it expected sales of about $11 billion in the current quarter, more than 50% higher than Wall Street estimates of $7.15 billion. So now you have everybody on Wall Street revamping their valuation models for Nvidia at the moment. Let's listen into this video coming from CNBC.
Susquehanna Managing Director and Senior Semiconductor Analyst Chris Rolland. Chris, great to have you with us. You know, when I saw that huge guide higher, you think they're not going to guide higher unless you know they can hit at least that number, which is just staggering.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Melissa. This is one of the biggest blowouts I've seen in the last decade in semis. And it's coming in contrast to virtually every other semiconductor company missing. So this is a stark reminder that we are in the middle of a massive AI gold rush right now, and Nvidia has all the picks and shovels.
What should Nvidia be valued at given this quarter and given the guide?
Well, people are scratching their heads. It's one of the most difficult things to analyze out there right now. We had a PE of, call it 80 times going into this report. Our numbers are going to shake out going from next year from, call it $6 to $10 in this single report, given this inflection. So the answer is it's extremely difficult and it's extremely open-ended.
Hey, Chris, I was trying to explain why they can't have this kind of a lead, but you just said no one else has a pick and no one else has a shovel. Who's close? And we don't have the time or the bandwidth probably to get into the technical answer on this. But you know, can anyone compete?
I will give you the short answer. The short answer is the best prospect that I can see right now would be AMD's MI300. They might be in the ballpark. They're probably not close to the H100 AI card out there, but we have actually some good prospects for AMD in the accelerated computing space.
So in terms of the guide higher, Chris, how should we think about in terms of how much can be attributed to AI, how much can be attributed to data center? Because we're seeing all of the chip stocks in the after-hour session pretty much, except for Intel, trade higher. Not all of them, as you say, have the ability to produce these AI chips. And so I'm just trying to figure out how we should think about the increases in the competitors of NVIDIA. And should it really be an NVIDIA story?
Yeah, this is quite a bit for data center, but the vast majority of this is this AI arms race that's taking place right now. This is the gold rush of 1849, except this time it's built around generative AI, large language models, and NVIDIA really is the only game in town as of right now.
At what point, Tim mentioned this earlier, and we're far from it, but we've seen commoditization in this space many, many times over the years. Is it possible for that to happen a lot quicker than any of us realize?
Perhaps, but really right now it's centered all around the GPU. There are hundreds of AI startups over the past few years that have tried to get into this market, and there are really no viable competitors right now. Like I mentioned, there's a glimmer of hope for AMD in the MI300, but really NVIDIA is running the table here, and it's really around their language, CUDA. And the libraries in CUDA that are making this the de facto standard.
What is sort of the wild card that could dent AI? It seems like everything is going for it right now, Chris. But what's on your radar in terms of something that can pop this bubble?
We have had AI winters in the past. big fits and starts. That's always a possibility here. We're now moving to more than 1 trillion parameters that these large language models are indeed analyzing, and perhaps they, top out at one point in time, and we go into a new winter. That is not my base case. I do believe this is a Cambrian period for AI right now, and Nvidia is indeed the beneficiary.
You tell your clients to buy it at 391.
I do. Like I said, this is open-ended.
Yeah.
But we also like the prospects for AMD. They have a great server chip where they're taking share from Intel, and then a glimmer of hope in what has become a massive, massive data center, accelerated computing, and AI market.
All right, there you have it. So let's get into the charts. Now, before we analyze Nvidia's charts, although AI was already included in Nvidia's $1 trillion total addressable market, it's the adoption and the speed and the surprising upside that we're seeing that's caused the stock to just bump up 28%. Now, if we go to the monthly chart, when price increased from 200 to 260, we had this consolidation period where the buyers and the sellers were duking it out. And prior to earnings, last week price broke out and closed above the resistance support band. Now, I was hoping, but I had little doubt. I was hoping that we would get a sell-off on the earnings. But as I was reading various reports, there were many people on Wall Street up in their price targets. And it makes sense, right? Today's stock is up 28%, $70+ takes out the all-time high. Now, Chris Rollins said he would buy it at these prices. Some analysts have, I've heard, a $500 target. Many are in the 400 plus. So what you can see on today's candle, we had a gap up. It sold off, profit taking. And now people are chasing price, which is why it's moving higher once again. I missed the opportunity. Maybe the best way to play this is to dollar cost average into it. It will move higher. I don't know if it's going to cool off. Again, this was the former all-time high. Maybe it pulls back to the all-time high before moving higher. But as you can see, that did not work out down here. And it may not work out at current prices. As Nvidia just gave us 11 billion reasons to buy the stock. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.